Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Let me add my voice and welcome the students from Guyana as well, our athletes who represented us well in the Carifta Games. Mr. Speaker, allow me a brief moment to convey my heartfelt condolences to Miss Evelyn Fergus of Odsa on the passing of her daughter, Jacqueline Fergus. Only 2 years ago, Miss Evelyn Fergus lost her daughter, Denise Fergus, who was a former employee of the St. Lucia Social Development Fund. She worked there for many, many years. And I also want to convey my condolences to the Eli Box family on the passing of Mr. Redmond. Approximately 3 weeks ago, I had a telephone conversation with Mr. Redmond on matters relating to Castries, Southeast, and some land issues. I wish them both peaceful rest and their families, Godspeed, God blessings as they mourn at this time the loss of their loved one. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to lead out in the budget presentations. Over the years, Mr. Speaker, we have come to expect the leader of the opposition to be the first to respond to the PM's presentation. But we seem to have a leader of opposition who has always been against the concept of first, like putting people first. But Mr. Speaker, whether I speak first, second, third, or last, it does not matter to me. What is of paramount importance to me is giving an account to the people of St. Lucia, particularly the people of Castries Southeast, on how we will continue to put them first. But Mr. Speaker, I don't really blame the leader of the opposition for not responding first or even not responding at all. I mean, listening to the PM's presentation last evening, I lost all count of what he's going to do for St. Lucia. There are so many, without new taxes. And I could not help thinking of a few lines in a beautiful hymn penned by Annie J. Flint. He Giveth More Graces, the title. And this hymn was made popular by Brother Peter Patience of the Therefore SDA Church in my constituency. And the lines that come to mind says, His love has no limit. His grace has no measure. He giveth, and he giveth again, unquote. So, Mr. Speaker, after such a generous, promising, and uplifting budget presentation, what is there for the leader of the opposition to debate? He must be at a loss for words. So I think, as he did last Tuesday evening, better off in taking notes for his new book entitled What I Shoulda Do or Coulda Do like PJP. But Mr. Speaker, to offer an account of our stewardship as the Minister of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment for the fiscal year 2025-2026, I will be guided by a theme. Social concerns, all social concerns are our concern. And of course, Mr. Speaker, moi vle di en créole, toutes affaires sociales, c'est affaires nous. Today's presentation represents the outcome and continued commitment to our national vision of service delivery on the premise of inclusivity, fairness, justice for the marginalized and vulnerable among us. Mr. Speaker, again, I need to emphasize the theme. Affaires sociales, c'est affaires nous toutes. Mr. Speaker, this theme implies our acknowledgement of a society's social concerns, like health concerns, poverty, dignity, and the rights of individuals. Of course, as a ministry, we advocate for shared responsibilities, shared partnership, and engagement in addressing these concerns. So, Mr. Speaker, again, I make a clarion call for collective responsibility in action. As such, I call on government, civil society, faith-based organization, Jeune Moun, Gon Moun, Tout Moun to join in. Mr. Speaker, I promise a guarantee that once we continue to make these social concerns A part of our constant conversation, we will undoubtedly pave the way for an inclusive, sustainable, and just St. Lucia. Mr. Speaker, before further ado, allow me to seize a brief moment again to extend gratitude to the people of Castries Southeast. Special thanks to those who lifted my name in prayers and those who continue to hold my hands up. Special thanks to my family, especially my lovely wife and children, for their unwavering support. I extend thanks and appreciation to the management and staff of the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment, and most importantly, to our service recipients. To our service recipients, thank you for trusting the process and giving us such a genuine privilege to be your voice and advocate on your behalf. Mr. Speaker, I am moved by a message in Matthew 20, verse 26 and 28, which reads, "Whosoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve." I thank God for the opportunity to serve. He was the perfect example of serving. It is because of His grace that I am able to offer myself to those who are voiceless. Most importantly, Mr. Speaker, thanks to our beneficiaries who gave us this opportunity to serve them and to help them navigate challenges. Mr. Speaker, I also offer sincere gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister, Philip Joseph Pierre, for his understanding and for embracing the ideals of this ministry, which represents the conscience of our governing system, where our mandate seeks to defend and empower the vulnerable while actively engaging in social and economic activities. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to share last year's achievement with this Honorable House. These actions certainly propel us to look forward to further engagement and collaboration. Mr. Speaker, like in past years, we remain steadfast in our commitment to promote inclusive growth while bolstering social safety nets. Our deliberate action as per these commitments stems from our capability approach, which forms the foundation of our action and intents. This approach was pioneered by an economist and philosopher, Amartya Sen, and further developed by Martha Nussbaum. This approach is a human-centered framework for assessing well-being, development, and social justice. It shifts the focus from mere resource distribution or economic growth to what individuals are to be and do, their capabilities and functions. In other words, Mr. Speaker, this approach provides the context of the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment. This approach offers a robust conceptual foundation that supports our policies and aligns activities with steps towards sustainable development goals. In essence, Mr. Speaker, the capability approach highlights well-being and participation rather than focusing only on economic indicators. The services at the ministry do not put value or dollar and cents on what people can contribute, but rather see people's capabilities and functions. Mr. Speaker, there is no price on capabilities of individuals, and the Honorable Prime Minister is interested in the empowerment and capabilities of individuals. Achievements. Mr. Speaker, before going any further, let me share with our attentive listeners the many ways that Zaffaires Sociales, Zaffaires Equity, as per our achievements. The first one, Mr. Speaker, I need to speak with: anticipatory action. Sometime last week, Mr. Speaker, the signing of the Anticipatory Action Cash Transfer Initiative, which seeks to provide coverage of financial support to vulnerable population before disaster occurs. We signed this agreement with the World Food Organization. We also recognize the signing of a technical agreement on adaptive shock responsive social protection, strengthening St. Lucia's social protection system to be more flexible and responsive during emergencies. Mr. Speaker, before going further, I would like to just focus on, at this time, on the St. Lucia Social Development Fund and its achievements. Mr. Speaker, educational assistance this year, in this financial year, increased by 1.5%. A total of 1,672 households received support. This happened as a result of a slight saving achieved through recycling textbooks and a deliberate effort to secure supplies at a reduced price. Mr. Speaker, as well, I need to inform members that we provided 879 students with shoes, 785 students received uniforms, 558 students received books, 138 students on a transportation system, and of course we paid tuition fees up to 75 students for SALCC, that's South Louis Community College, the university, care, and other institutions. For CSEC, we provided 54 students with support, preschool 42 students, Mr. Speaker. Under the educational assistance, Mr. Speaker, we saw an increase in the number of persons receiving assistance, and of course this will continue this year. I will give some more information on this as we go forward. For household support, as it relates to housing assistance, a total of $1,395,000 was spent by the St. Lucia Social Development Fund on housing assistance to vulnerable people. Renovation assistance and support for expansion of houses, 110 persons received assistance. For assistance for payment of rent, persons who had difficulties in paying rent, 42 persons or 42 households benefited. We built 4 new structures, and we paid utilities, water, electricity for 152 families. Our Boys Matters program, Mr. Speaker, is a very important program to the Ministry of Equity through the St. Lucia Social Development Fund. A total of 105 male students from secondary school, CARE, SALCC, and A-level received support through our Boys Matter program. Through this program, we provided groceries and food vouchers to 140 households, uniform to 103, transportation, 102 students received support, shoes again, school shoes, 101 students, meal allowance, 98 students received support on our Boys Matter program, books, 75, workshops, 70 students participated in parental motivational retreat workshops, care tuition to 14 students, CSEC 12, medical and psychosocial support of 11 students. We had summer camp 10, graduation and school fees we support 9 students, and of course we provided lessons to support them. 8 students received lessons. We paid KIP fees, utility, and we built 1 home in that regard. Under the holistic opportunities for personal empowerment, HOPE under SSDF, Mr. Speaker, it's an area where we provide a total support totaling $1,053,521.76. Under the HOPE program, burial assistance went to 88 households, small business assistance to 8 households, employment assistance 16, medical assistance 167 persons received medical assistance, domestic assistance 24, educational assistance continued through HOPE 57 households, housing assistance 26. We provided small infrastructure project 30 around communities around St. Lucia received support in small infrastructure project, micro enterprise 15, income support 25, sponsorship 96, approximately 563 persons were directly benefited under the HOPE program through the St. Lucia Social Development Fund. Apart from receiving those support, Mr. Speaker, we also have a job placement activity, and this is on the various sectors: health and wellness, hospitality, food and services, non-government organization, the private sector, public service, agriculture, social development, community development, education. 122 persons who are placed in gainful employment through the job placement under HOPE. Under the SSDF as well, through the SSDF, the Constituency Development Program received up to 30% of allocation from constituencies, and this amounts to a total this year of nearly $10 million, where 428 persons through the CDP received support, educational support, creative assistance, 3 social assistance, 244, medical assistance, significant, and 627, housing assistance as well, 653 through the CDP, employment assistance, sponsorship, small infrastructural project, 1,360, burial assistance under the CDP was 386, income support 367, and others. A total of 5,644 beneficiaries under the CDP. Mr. Speaker, through the SSDF, I'm talking about short-term employment. A total of 9,470 persons receive employment under short-term employment, or what we call STEP. And of course, this aggregate in terms of 5,207 persons, 7 males were employed, and 4,263 females were included in short-term employment. Includes dishwashers, weed eaters, awarded small contracts for cleaning up, and of course, most of you would have seen the activities that took place during the short-term employment program. A total of $6 million was expended on the program, covering wages, operational costs, waste disposal services. Mr. Speaker, under the SSDF, I also wish to submit that in the specific program for educational assistance supported a total beneficiaries of 7,115 individuals. Preschool was 201, infant level 910, primary level 2,898 students received support under this program, secondary level 2,344, tertiary level 246 persons receive educational assistance. These were under the St. Lucia Social Development Fund. Under the Basic Needs Trust Fund, Mr. Speaker, there were 15 sub-projects under the BNTF program 10, and they were executed under 4 core priority areas: education, human resource development, livelihoods, water and sanitation, and basic community access and drainage. In this regard, Mr. Speaker, we saw the rehabilitation of the Viewford Comprehensive School and Nutrition Lab at a total cost of $1.06 million. We had the after-school music program in Strozel at $302,828.50. We also have the rehabilitation of pre-K classroom at Babono Combined, rehabilitation of pre-K classroom at the Bishop Gashi Primary School, rehabilitation of pre-K classroom at Lakwa Mengo Combined, the Entrepot Daycare, including supply of furniture, received support, rehabilitation of a wall block in the Soufre Primary School took place, 7 classrooms were upgraded, construction of the Bele Early Childhood Center, rehabilitation of the Labey Early Childhood Center, as business strengthening capacity for economic viability in the creative industry, a total of $243,000 was expended. At Scape, a total of $722,000 was invested. That's through CDP, a music studio, and as well as construction of roads and drain in Goodland East. Goodland East, I said. Goodland East, yes. A total of 0.24 kilometers of road. Construction of a road at Crownlands Bexor and installation of a water tank at Strozel. 100,000 gallons water tank was installed. Mr. Speaker, through the Kudme Settlisia de St. Lucia Social Development Fund, this program is very important to the safety net and in managing what we do through the Ministry of Equity. The program design embraces a multidimensional and multi-sectorial approach to poverty reduction as it pivots from a narrow and silo approach. Mr. Speaker, a total number of individuals, a total of 53 households benefited from this program, with a total number of individuals 240, males being 118 and females 122. The program continues, but this year we saw a focus on persons who are on public assistance to assist in having them graduate from the public assistance program. Very important to the ministry also is the home care program, Mr. Speaker. 992 clients receive support from this program. Mr. Speaker, we have 242 clients who are mobile, 384 clients who are immobile, 366 with restricted mobility. The major conditions affecting the clients on the program: hypertension, 197 persons, diabetes, hypertension and diabetes, 289, diabetes alone is 92, stroke 161, heart issues 42, dementia 203, blindness or visually impaired 111, cancer 43, amputation of both legs 9, amputation of one leg 45. This basically highlights the characteristics of the 992 persons who are receiving care. The team manages the implementation of the program, comprises basically of 8 supervisors, 21 constituency supervisors, 3 regional supervisors, and a program manager. Mr. Speaker, this program is very important to the Ministry of Equity as we provide support to individuals through the St. Lucia Social Development Fund. Mr. Speaker, I want to continue with programs through the Ministry of Equity, and the other one that I need to speak to is the Juvenile Rehabilitation Center. The implementation phase at this time, we've cleared the site. We have an approved technical committee. We have completed designs and have a big bill of quantities, and we are currently engaging the donor agency, the Caribbean Development Bank, for funding of this important facility. Offenders reintegration, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a very, very important initiative. And under the St. Lucia Labour Party doctrine of bread, justice, and freedom, no other program accentuates the doctrine of the SLP than the ORP, Offenders Reintegration Program, because freedom, of course, is weaved in the very fabric of our being. And thank God I can say there is a key for every prison cell. So we provide an opportunity to reintegrate persons who have gone through our prisons with an opportunity, with a second chance for them to participate in livelihood and in our society. This program reminds us of the importance of freedom and how persons sometimes with good character can make mistakes in their life and find themselves in prison. So I'm happy to inform that with the 11 participants that participated with life skill training, we have 7 participants who are now placed on jobs and are getting on with their life as it relates to the Offenders Reintegration Program. Mr. Speaker, last year we provided 5,088 persons with $1,500 each under the COVID response project, and this certainly has been completed. We also have a counseling unit that provides support for individuals. But let me move on with this year's projects and what we intend to do. For the fiscal year 2025-2026, the ministry received an allocation of $58,629,500 Eastern Caribbean dollars, representing a slight decrease from the previous year, and this decrease is due to the completion and successful implementation of the COVID-19 responses, which catered to the needs of vulnerable persons in the form of training, renovation of the New Beginning Transit Home, and the one-time payment, of course, as I spoke about. Mr. Speaker, the allocation of funds for 2025-2026 are as follows. Faith-based organization and social groups, community initiatives, psychosocial care and support, data gathering, St. Lucia Social Development Fund, disaster preparedness. Mr. Speaker, this ministry recognizes the fundamental role played by faith-based organization in social development, poverty reduction, and community resilience in St. Lucia. These roles are laced into the very name and mandate of my ministry. With this in mind, we recognize the positive impact of faith-based organization, and we conscientiously support them. Mr. Speaker, this support continues to enhance the effort to serve vulnerable persons. The ministry acknowledges the pivotal role that faith-based organizations play in society and notes that this role is only heightened through partnership. Yes, Mr. Speaker, let me reiterate the importance of partnership. It is through this partnership that we ensure support for social services and community development. Sorry, Mr. Speaker. It is through this partnership that we ensure support for social services and community development will tangibly impact more people, alleviate poverty, empower individuals, and foster inclusive and resilient homes and communities while addressing diverse needs. Mr. Speaker, sir, there is a biblical example and a foundation for supporting faith-based organizations. These foundations are built on charity, unity, love, and service to others. These include feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, and offering drink to those who thirst, and shelter to strangers among us. The most popular one is found in the first book of the New Testament, Matthew chapter 25, verse 35 to 40. These verses highlighted the biblical foundation for supporting faith-based organizations, emphasizing charity, unity of service, and stewardship. Let's pay attention to the admonition that comes in this verse. And Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did to one of these least of brothers or sisters of mine, you did unto me." So we believe, Mr. Speaker, as an SLP government, that when we provide to struggling families, when we provide support to pensioners, when we provide support to teachers, when we provide support to early childhood individuals, when we provide support to persons who were incarcerated and now coming out, we believe we are providing support to ourselves as individuals. The Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment engages with the faith-based organizations through policy collaboration, capacity building, community action. Mr. Speaker, it would be remiss of me not to highlight the Honorable Prime Minister's interest and care for those we serve. The ministry's work is easier knowing that our political leader views the function of the ministry through the lens of the capability approach. This approach aligns with our mandate, which seeks to promote human development, reduce inequality, and ensure social justice. As such, we receive an allocation of $298,542 in grants and contribution to faith-based organizations. Mr. Speaker, social groups and feeding programs will be happier this year. Ek mwen vle di a Creole, c'est l'illusion qui kay recevoir support from ministry equity l'année salak kay wede pour faire assez moun han manye ek han difficulty support. Mr. Speaker, this is another meaningful activity on our part to better signature of Philip Cares, and no one is left behind. Mr. Speaker, community initiatives. Community initiatives are a critical component of the ministry's plan to promote equitable, sustainable, and inclusive development. These initiatives aim to foster long-term resilience, citizen empowerment, and social cohesiveness. For our after-school program, we receive an allocation of $777,295. This time around, we intend to have a center in each constituency to ensure equity and adequate participation. The after-school program aims to enhance the resilience of children and address their unmet needs through engagement in pro-social, skill-building activities with a safe, enjoyable, and child-friendly environment. The program is designed to foster the holistic development of children from disadvantaged backgrounds by mitigating various risk factors, including antisocial behaviors, while equipping children with essential life skills such as conflict resolution, which decreases the likelihood of them resorting to violence to resolve disputes. Moreover, there will be an emphasis on academic support, which will in turn address issues of low grades, reduction in school dropout, as well as truancy. Mr. Speaker, a very important initiative this year is the rehabilitation of human resource development centers. I am sure that my colleagues will agree with me that human resource development centers are vital in fostering social bonds, promoting inclusivity, and building strong, safe human resource centers that provide a constructive and support environment for individuals of all ages. Mr. Speaker, the rehabilitation of human resource centers will enable government to fulfill its social and economic obligations to the citizens while also increasing local development activities. Additionally, it will empower the people of Lakwamengo, Lower Badni by providing them with fully functioning basic centers. The center will serve as a space for various social, educational, and recreational programs that contribute to the overall well-being of communities. I thank the Honorable Prime Minister for continuing the allocation and support of $300,000 to the completion of these centers. Mr. Speaker, this investment will not only provide a much-needed resource to the community, but also contribute to the broad objective of creating inclusive, thriving communities across St. Lucia. Mr. Speaker, infrastructure development programs. This government shares concerns about ensuring that citizens, especially persons with disabilities, marginalized youth, and the underprivileged receive adequate infrastructural amenities around St. Lucia. These individuals often face significant barriers and are unable to access sidewalks, business establishments, youth facilities, and other essential services. Recognizing the urgent need to address these disparities, the ministry has reaffirmed its commitment to empowerment, inclusivity, and the development of spaces that support vulnerable groups. In alignment with this mission, an amount of $5 million is allocated for the development and enhancement of accessible infrastructure. In this inclusive approach, funding will be directed towards improving public spaces, ensuring sidewalks, drains, footpaths, key facilities, youth recreational accesses, and spaces for underprivileged are fully accessible to all members of the community, regardless of their physical abilities, socio-economic status, and I hasten to add, regardless of their political affiliation. Mr. Speaker, I am a firm believer that providing basic amenities to our people is not a privilege to them, but it is a right. People need and deserve to have proper road access, proper drains, footpaths, etc., all the time. It should not be determined by whether they are loyal to a political party or not. For example, Mr. Speaker, the former parliamentary representative for Castries Southeast recently claimed that the Chope Road was in a deplorable condition and the people had to repair it themselves. Mr. Speaker, if I were in his position, I would not say a thing. He spent 15.5 years in the constituency and did not repair the road. He claimed that they are mainly his supporters, yet he ignored them because he feels they are already secured in a bag. But that is a manipulative behavior. That is using the people, starve them to catapult himself back into power. But Mr. Speaker, I want to assure the people of Chopin that their road will get the attended attention, and they should not worry. And it is not being done for votes, but because they have a right to receive proper access to their homes. Mr. Speaker, this infrastructural development program marks a critical step towards creating a more inclusive society where every individual, including youth and the underprivileged, has equal opportunity to thrive, engage, and contribute. Mr. Speaker, all of these initiatives will not be effective if we don't have a conversation about the psychosocial care and support. Mr. Speaker, the provision of psychosocial care and support is one of the key functions of the ministry. This sort of support helps individuals enhance and restore the capacity. There is an adoption committee, and Mr. Speaker, this is one of the most important institutional mechanisms to guarantee that adoption procedures are moral, open, child-centered, and compliant with both national laws and international agreement in the creation and official approval of an adoption committee. This ministry overarching mission to safeguard vulnerable groups, advance social justice, and fortify family units depend on this kind of committee. Mr. Speaker, while this committee seeks to prioritize the best interests of the child in alignment with the United Nations Convention on the Rights of a Child, it also holistically observes the child and ensures that the adoption placement are safe, stable, and comfortable. Mr. Speaker, we receive an allocation of $41,368 for the management of the adoption cases through this committee. Yes, you're everywhere. The Counseling Unit, Mr. Speaker, of Human Services and Family Affairs. Mr. Speaker, the Counseling Unit is a critical component of the ministry's mandate to promote social justice, equity, and dignity. The unit provides essential psychosocial support to clients, including individuals and group counseling, crisis intervention, and trauma-informed care. Mr. Speaker, this is one of the many ways that the ministry promotes inclusive, sustainable human development by integrating social protection system with emotional well-being. Furthermore, the unit will design and implement specialized programs to build psychosocial resilience, empowering clients to overcome adversity and improve their mental well-being through continuous function of rehabilitation, capacity building, and public education. Yes, it is. The transit home. Mr. Speaker, our children are at risk of abuse of all sorts. Unfortunately, some of our children become mothers, and they do experience challenges at the nexus of puberty, maternity, and rehabilitation that calls for focused, considerate, and organized solutions. Within the walls of the semi-independent living unit that's at the transit home, teenage moms and their infants can strengthen their maternal attachment, acquire life skill, and get ready for a safe and supportive transition back into society. Mr. Speaker, with the advent of the semi-independent living unit, we can help promote dual development. Dual development will ensure that the infant and adolescent girls in foster care frequently manage their own emotional and psychosocial recovery while also learning how to take care of their newborns. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, this arrangement, coupled with an allocation of $15,000, is essential as it will protect the newborn from potential exposure of viruses, bacteria from other children, minimize noise disruption from other residents, and allow for a more focused supervision of both mother and her baby. Mr. Speaker, we will continue this year with the Juvenile Rehabilitation Center, which is a critical long-term project aimed at providing conducive environment for rehabilitation and education of young individuals. The ministry continues its engagement on the project with a commitment to providing a modern, effective facility that supports youth development and well-being. As work continues on the center, an allocation of $373,000 has been approved for the 2025-26 financial year. This funding is specifically earmarked to cover essential remedial maintenance work, ensuring the facility continues to progress and the structural integrity is in place. These funds will also support any necessary upgrades to the existing system aligned with the evolving needs of the project. While these funds are critical for ongoing operations, negotiations are still on the way to secure total funding required to complete the center fully. The final cost is expected to be significant, reflecting a comprehensive nature of the facility and the long-term benefit it will provide for youth around the island. Renovation of the Boys Training Center. Mr. Speaker, how much more time will I have?
19 minutes.
Thank you very much. I'm sailing. The ministry is committed to ensuring a safety and rehabilitation of children, recognizing that their well-being and successful reintegration into society are integral to this country's broader social goals. Mr. Speaker, we continue to improve on service delivery and safety for the children in our care. As such, we will address the issues that will compromise the integrity of the building and negatively impact the rehabilitation and protection. The center's programs resulted in several significant accomplishments during the previous financial year. We are pleased to announce the completion of the operation manual that guides the center. 65% of the staff have received training. The incident of absenteeism have decreased significantly, and 40% of in-house population is preparing to take TVET CVQ examinations in welding. The center maintains a thriving egg production farm and has supplied many citizens with eggs at one of the most reasonable prices on the island. In fact, the member for Dennery, I said that we have at the Boys Training Center the best prices on eggs. Mr. Speaker, this is not a paid promotion, but a way to inform the boys about the activities of the center and the way of farming. And of course, we are promoting actually improving food security on the island at every level. Additionally, 60% of the staff have received training in positive youth development and trauma approach. The aftercare program, which is designed to offer psychosocial and economic support to the occupants of the center, was provided by the center to 18 boys. 83% of the aftercare boys were exemplary citizens of St. Lucia and are thriving. The remaining 17% or 3 boys, Mr. Speaker, did not do as well as we would like them to. Mr. Speaker, the primary concern is the severe damage to the building, particularly the roof, which has become a contributing factor to the boys absconding from the center. The damaged roof facilitates escape, thereby putting the resident at significant risk, both in terms of their safety and the potential to engage in harmful activities once outside the center. Mr. Speaker, again, I thank the Honorable Prime Minister for the allocation of $167,000 to address the impaired roof. We remain committed to ensuring continuous safety and well-being of youth rehabilitation in St. Lucia. Data gathering, Mr. Speaker. The Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment received an allocation of $900,949 for the Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey, commonly known as MIC-7. The primary objective of this initiative is to collect crucial data on sustainable development goals, including information on both national and international commitment made towards achieving these goals. Mr. Speaker, the collection of this data will play a pivotal role in the formation and development of national plans that aligned with the government commitments to the SDGs. We have embarked on training using a computer-assisted personal interview and a paper-pencil interview with field enumerators using for the listing and mapping activities, likewise stakeholders engagement with sister agencies like the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, and the Central Statistical Office. Mr. Speaker, the data gathered through the survey will enable the government to fulfill part of its SDG obligations to the citizens of St. Lucia while providing the foundation for the creation of targeted programs that address the specific needs of identified individuals and communities. Additionally, the result of this survey will provide timely and relevant data on various population groups, helping to inform the development of support programs and policies. Mr. Speaker, the result will also allow us to make the necessary adjustment to strategies, ensuring continued alignment with both national priorities and international commitments. The only way we can know what is happening is through data collection. You must participate by giving honest answers. Moi vle di se moun nan ki kay pase, kay mande cette liste question, bay réponse, so nou kay twape, vraiment sa nou ni pou connaître, so nou kay faire première décision avec l'argent gouvernement Kabano. Disaster preparedness. Mr. Speaker, I spoke of the anticipatory action earlier on. $600,000 was approved for the anticipatory action project. Mr. Speaker, this is a novel, and it is St. Lucia is the only island in the region that's currently doing this project or have signed up for this project, the anticipatory action project. This project really is geared towards providing resources, and I'm going to say it as best as I can. Projet Salani $600,000 except pour bay moun la si un cyclone ka vini avant cyclone nan wive. Idea ebe sa nou ni en plan c'est pour bay moun la avant cyclone nan wive. So you kay prepare kwa yo. C'est pour ça you ka kouye anticipatory action project. The project aims to strengthen the country's social protection system so that it can better respond to economic and climate-related shocks. The project focuses on building institutional capacity, refining the household's vulnerability index, enhancing digital payments mechanisms, and supporting livelihoods and food security. Mr. Speaker, I cannot help but to remind you, some time ago, I heard the statement during the COVID, if they don't eat, they will not die. If they don't eat, they will not die. Mr. Speaker, as it relates to food security, you cannot say that about our people. In fact, there are some young men at a certain age, data would show that they consume so much that when they eat, the rest of the family are in problems. The 19, the 16-year-old, the 15-year-old young men that's starting to put on their size on what have you, or when I was 15 or 16, I used to take down some food. So the anticipatory action is to provide support to vulnerable homes based on that kind of information to improve their livelihoods and food security. The anticipatory action mechanism has been fully developed and it is ready for implementation during this hurricane season. There will be a simulation exercise in May 2025. This simulation exercise will test its effectiveness, identify gaps, and address inefficiencies before full rollout. The mechanism will facilitate cash transfers of 300 to 2,000 households will participate in the event of a hurricane and will receive cash through the I think it's a mechanism, digital payment, and of course, we will see how this works with them. Mr. Speaker, it's important that we encourage the persons who would be in this to take it seriously. And once it is successful, we intend to roll it out in terms of a broader program so that we reduce our vulnerability in times of a disaster. Social protection and safety net program. The welfare unit is the arm of the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment, which is charged with managing social protection programs that specifically target poor and vulnerable individuals and families. Mr. Speaker, the two main programs are the public assistance cash transfer, and which is the largest cash transfer program in the OECS island. It's a significant
Member, you
cash
have
transfer
10 minutes
program.
left.
Thank you. I'm not shadowing the leader of the opposition, but if I need to, I guess I will get more time. I will. I'm not. The two main programs are the Public Assistance Program, Transfer Grants, Child Disability Grant. Additionally, other social protection services include burial assistance, eye care services, fire victim assistance, emergency housing, and food vouchers. Mr. Speaker, we serve 3,554 persons under the Public Assistance Cash Transfer Grant. From this total, 545 persons receive cash grants from their sub-collectors, while 3,009 persons receive grants via electronic fund transfer. Mr. Speaker, I am proud to report that we have commenced the graduation of persons from public assistance. The graduation process using SLNet 3.0 ensures legitimacy of persons on public assistance. Mr. Speaker, to improve delivery of services, we have received an additional amount of $3,200,000 and it's about 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes. Just a second. Let me go now. Mr. Speaker, I must confess it is a challenge for persons to get off the program, but rest assured we'll continue to do our best. Mr. Speaker, the home care program is another significant program, and of course, Mr. Speaker, we have increased the program from $9 million to $10 million. This program aims to address the care gap for older adults and individuals with mobility challenges, a gap that has been created by changes in family structures, a high dependency ratio among older persons, economic pressures, and the growing number of St. Lucians affected by degenerative diseases, and an overburdened primary health care system. Mr. Speaker, focus is to provide primary health care services to the increasing number of functional or mobility challenged individuals to improve their overall healthcare quality. Additionally, the program aims to provide employment capacity and opportunities to over 500 St. Lucians. The creation of these jobs serves as a critical safety net, particularly considering the rising inflation and the lingering socioeconomic effects of this COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Speaker, we've received an allocation of EC $405,062 to continue the reintegration program this financial year. The program targets the offender reintegration program will address delinquency, crime among youth who are either not attending school or they are beyond school age. This program targets the main variables identified by empirical data as significant contributors to crime and delinquency, namely vulnerabilities and risk factors. BNTF 11, Mr. Speaker, will target 4 key sectors: water and sanitation, education and human resource development, basic community access, and drainage and livelihoods. The project will be guided by a country policy framework and will influence both design and activities of the program. The project is set to be implemented over 44 months with an estimated completion date of 31st December 2029. The project will be delivered through a social development through the St. Lucia Social Development Foundation, through the SSDF, and of course, Mr. Speaker, the government through SSDF is working to improve the social economic status of the poor and marginalized communities. The BNTF program will contribute a reduction to poverty and vulnerability by enhancing access to basic infrastructure, financial resources, and human services, all in alignment with the country's poverty reduction strategy. The program will continue its sector-focused approach, emphasizing 3 core priority areas: education, human resource development, water and sanitation, and basic community access and drainage. Additionally, the BNTF program will expand its scope to include support for productive livelihoods, including agriculture, food provision, of asset, skilled knowledge, product, market information, and entrepreneurial development with a specific focus on youth entrepreneurship. For this purpose, we receive an allocation of $826,486. Mr. Speaker, through the development agenda in Castries Southeast, in keeping with these appropriation bills, as follows. We recognize the important areas highlighted through the Ministry of Equity and what have been discussed throughout the Prime Minister's presentation. And I wish at this time just to highlight how through the Ministry of Equity, through the BNTF program, that Castries Southeast will benefit. The Castries Southeast market, Cabinet has approved its site, and of course, we will receive support to improve livelihoods for the BNTF program. Mr. Speaker, through this financial year, we are hoping to see the commencement of the construction of tombs in the Bexor National Cemetery. Mr. Speaker, also, we will, of course, receive more details, but we will also have the slope stabilization by construction of retaining walls in Tiroche, as well as in Bexor and Goodlands. Drainage work will continue in Cooley Town, Cul-de-sac, Crownlands, and Mac, as well as Sarat. And of course, Mr. Speaker, we expect in very short order that the roads in Castries Southeast, especially the Lacwa to Odsa Road, will receive priority when the Minister of Infrastructure provides his account in terms of the work of the Ministry of Infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, there will also be very quickly the provision of lots
Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I move that Standing Orders 32-8 be suspended to allow the Honourable Member an extra 10 minutes to complete his presentation.
Honourable Members, the question is that Standing Order 32-8 be invoked to allow the member for Castries Southeast an additional 10 minutes to complete his presentation. I now put the question. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of the contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. Ayes have it. Please proceed, member.
Thank you very much. Thank you so kindly. So, Mr. Speaker, even before completing this outline in terms of how this policy statement will impact Castries Southeast, I further need to highlight, Mr. Speaker, that the Upton Girls Center, which is under the auspices of the Ministry of Equity, this youth development center offering therapeutic interventions, including TVET training to youth and their families. The center accepts girls from age 12 to 17. However, a girl can remain up to 18 years at the center with a current cohort of 12 girls. There are 2 programs offered at the center: 6 months behavior modification that examines individual group counseling, basic mathematics, English, and therapeutic games to address self-esteem and self-awareness, and a 2-year training program that focuses on career growth and development. The center also offers aftercare support for 6 months, which entails individuals and family counseling, financial support, and the use and access of the facilities and the services as deemed necessary. Mr. Speaker, over the last 3 years, our enrollment has been 70. Over 50% of these girls return to secondary school to complete this level. The James Belgrave Microenterprise Development Belfund, Mr. Speaker, this enterprise is a St. Lucia government initiative established to empower low-income individuals by fostering sustainable microenterprise development. Operating under the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment, Belfund provides access to credit, business training, and technical assistance to support entrepreneurship and economic self-sufficiency. Over the past 3 years, Belfund has changed the lives of 97 loan recipients. Belfund also worked in collaboration with its sister agency through the SSDF Through the SSDF, Bell Fund has distributed or disbursed 41 loans. One of those programs was specifically targeted to assist 20 women under the Vulnerable Women's Program. 128 households improved their economic status through the Bell Fund during this short period. Mr. Speaker, and finally, Mr. Speaker, I just need to highlight what is happening with regards to farmers in Castries Southeast. Mr. Speaker, within the Castries Southeast constituency, we have a large number of active farmers, including the butchers. In fact, Mr. Speaker, from the farmers database at the Ministry of Agriculture, we have 987 registered farmers, which means that an estimated 20% of the registered farmers is from my constituency. In fact, Mr. Speaker, all butchers are from my constituency as their parliamentary representative, recognizing the significant contribution of our farmers to the development of this constituency and, by extension, food security. I have kept the farmers in this constituency at the forefront, supporting them and ensuring that they receive the necessary inputs to remain active farmers. My government, under the unleashing of the blue economy of the Caribbean project, provided farmers in the constituency with several agricultural inputs. Mr. Speaker, 208 1,000 gallons were given to crop farmers free of charge to ensure that they have adequate water to irrigate their crops during the drought. And Mr. Speaker, we did not forget our livestock farmers, those who rear pigs, cattle, birds, and small ruminants like sheep and goats received 55 water tanks, 1,000 gallons under the project. Mr. Speaker, the government through the Ministry of Agriculture ensure that the banana and plantain farmers in the constituency receive agricultural inputs. Mr. Speaker, the farmers in my constituency receive 2,006 bags of fertilizers, 519 bags of diaphin, 517 liters of herbicides, 4,604 bags of lime. 42 farmers' laborers were provided to farmers in my constituency for 7 months to provide free labor to the farmers for harvesting and weeding, planting, etc. 384 liters of nematicide, 206 rolls of ground covering measuring 3 meters by 100 meters. Mr. Speaker, and 2,307 liters of banana spray oil were distributed to farmers to control leaf spot disease. Mr. Speaker, these figures are just the farmers in my constituency received, and the same was done for farmers throughout St. Lucia. But Mr. Speaker, I do not want to take any more time, but to highlight the importance of all what is being done by this government. Mr. Speaker, I really want to thank you for the opportunity to share, and I certainly look for the implementation journey of this fiscal year. In closing, Mr. Speaker, I leave all of us with this thought, the thought that an act of empowerment is an act of nation building. N'importe quel pour bailler pouvoir, c'est l'occasion pour bâtir un pays. With this in mind, Mr. Speaker, I charge all of us to be architects who will build our nation while empowering each other. Mr. Speaker, St. Lucia belongs to all of us, and may God bless the Prime Minister and each one of us as we move forward with the work of building this nation. Thank you very much.